Welcome to I'm Doing Well. This is my podcast. I'm doing well. I hope you are too. And this podcast, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. I usually say I have a plan going in, and then I'm going to talk about one thing, elaborate on that, see where it takes me, and then I got another thing that I usually leap onto, and then see where that takes me. And then that's how I've been like formatting the past, I guess, this is podcast 14, or, episode 14 of this. Not that anyone's counting. I am. But that's enough. Now you got enough content to last you a fortnight. If you watch an episode a day, that's 2 weeks worth of content. Oh, how beautiful is that? But it was like starting episode like 4 or 5 when I started coming up with like a plan for the episodes. So it's look at us getting back to our roots. Not having a plan. That's great. But speaking of plan, oh, did I just organically come up with a topic? I I guess I did. I'm just that good. What can I say? I'm I'm so good. Admissions came out for Davis. How exciting is that? And you see the video I was talking about, the UC Davis roundtable. Woo! I posted it. I recorded it like what, a month ago? It was the day before, or it was like 2 days before I ended the UC Davis show. So that was like Valentine's Day, right? So yeah, it's been like 5 weeks, I think, since I recorded that, and now it's finally up, the roundtable. Um, I think I'm happy with it. You know, I think it's good. I think it's fine. That's the thing. You can't ask me about something I make the like week or month or so, the first half year after I make it, because I'm gonna say, it's whatever. It. I won't say it's good. I'll just say it. Well, it's up. It's in the public, so whatever. Um, but I think it's doing fine. 62 minutes. It's a hard ask for anyone to click on that video. So the fact that I think we're 3.5 days in to its life right now. The fact that it has just over 500 views, that's pretty cool for me. And so yeah, uh, I was what last week, the week before, I was like, I wanted to talk about it, and I was like, it's gonna do something cool that's never been done before. It's the thing it's doing, and the thing that I was like, oh, this might be taboo, is it's just letting the students of a university just speak their mind about the university. Because I mean, all the content that comes out of a university, it's it's got to match the morals and the message of the university. And to me, that's like both good and bad. Because if you're trying to advertise something, of course, you'd have to be an idiot to show the bad side of it. You think when they were advertising, like cigarettes, they're gonna show you those like black shriveled up lungs that they took out of someone? No. They're gonna show you like a happy go lucky camel. And that way you'll buy their cigarettes. Now, did I just compare cigarettes to college? Specifically my college in this case? Yep. Yep. Because they cost a lot, and everyone tells you they're good, but only you feel the effects of them because you're the ones actually using them, right? I don't know. And it like looks cool from the outside, but then you do it for enough time. That's the thing. The longer you do it, the more you feel like you're going crazy, right? I don't know. What am I talking about? I don't know. I no. So yeah, I didn't cut anything out. Anything I cut out was just like pauses in the roundtable. Just that didn't add anything. It was just because we recorded it over Zoom. Looking back on it, maybe it would have been smart to. What I've seen is people get in Zoom, but then they get in Discord for the audio. That way, there's not a delay. But yeah, Zoom has kind of a delay to it. So I don't know if that's on our end, on Zoom's end. I don't know how everyone's internet connection is. The two freshmen in the video, they were in the dorms, so they're using, EduRoam. So EduRoam's pretty fucking flaky. Um, it's not exactly reliable. And yeah, I just, a university will never go to students and be like, hey, what are we doing bad? You know? And then they wonder, like, why, why don't the students relate? It's because they're pushing this. I'm like, how much can I say? How much can I say? Because usually I hide all this behind a joke, but now I'm just like saying things not without a joke. So let's think of a joke. Oh, great idea. Let's see. Well, I already did the cigarette thing, right? But I mean, I actually have a whole story that I've only told to one person. I have a whole story about this idea of a college, or really anything, um, only advertising themselves a certain way. And that story I will tell in a video I'm going to record sometime this week. And who knows when that video is going to be out, but I don't want to talk too much about that. I have this long, it's like a 2 or 3 minute story I made up in my head, and it highlights that idea of like when the college, we're going to say the college in this case, when the college is around, there's only so much you can say. Or like when the information is being put through the college, you're only going to get a certain picture. I have like this whole analogy about that, but I don't want to say it here. I'll say it in that video, whenever that is. And so the taboo thing I did was I just asked students very bluntly, what do you hate about UC Davis? As the first question, just to basically establish that, hey, this video is not going to be just us, blowing Davis, getting the rocks off a gun rock, you know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel weird, because the first thing that you can hear me say in the video in the Zoom call, not the like 30-second intro I do, but the first thing I say to the group is, okay, let's start off easy, as like a joke, to make. I said, let's start off easy because it is a hard question. Like, what do you hate about the school you go to? To me, that was the angle I thought it was funny at. But then when I was editing it and watching it back, I realized when I say, okay, let's start off easy. What do you hate about UC Davis? I realized that actually more likely is conveyed as, well, there's so much to hate, so this should be an easy question, right? What do you hate about Davis? But that's not what I meant to do. I was just trying to establish to the audience that um, I am not I'm not on Davis's side for this next hour. Okay, I'm on no one's side. I just want to hear people's opinions. And that's why I didn't give my opinion ever. I just hosted the thing. I let people speak their mind. I didn't shut anyone down. I would sometimes, tell people to maybe elaborate on things, and but I wanted everything to just free flow. You know, I wanted to Drano that bitch. You know what I'm saying? We got some clogged pipes. I just want the information to come out of them. So yeah, it's out. It's you know it'll probably not see much traffic. This is something I've noticed over the past 3 years or whatever, 4 years now. Um, March isn't like a big month for like college YouTube, even though decisions come out in March. It's April that's the big month for viewership, because that's when the high schoolers or the transfer students or whoever's trying to get into college, April is the month when they have to make their decision, because on like the last day of April, that's like the deadline for decisions. And so April is when they're just consuming the shit out of this content. And so I assume that, the roundtable will pick up some traffic heading into April more. And I'm sure, is that when high schoolers have spring break? I don't know. This week is my spring break. So I don't know when high schoolers have that, but I'm sure, they'll find their way onto the round table a little later. And then you can see it on a smaller scale too. The video goes up on a Thursday. Not too much traffic on Thursday, a little more Friday, but then you can see Saturday, Sunday, it really picked up because that's when, the kids don't have school and they can finally, sit down and have the time to consume a piece of content. So yeah, I think it's all things considered, getting posted on a Thursday at 5 p.m. or 4:55 to be exact, I guess, if we want to. I think it's doing fine. Being up for 3.5 days, what is that? Like 84 hours? So, in the first 84 hours, just over 500 views, that's great. I don't think that's bad. I think, is that something to be proud of? I don't know, because I don't know how to appreciate things, but am I proud or happy? I don't know, but the video's up. Ask me in like a year. We'll see. So yeah, that's up. I'm glad. If you guys, if any of the 7 of you that were in it are watching this, I want to just say again, thank you so much. You guys are, like, I said it a couple podcasts ago, like, there's a reason I picked you guys, and it's because you're so easy to talk to and you know how to joke around. So I just want to say thank you again, the 7 of you, for helping me out with that. I think, I think I'm happy with I'm content with how it turned out, and I hope you guys are too. Yeah, thanks, So yeah, that's how it looks like, that's, we're going to be seeing a lot of all that, incoming freshman stuff over the next month. And with that comes like DMs, and I haven't gotten too many yet, but I have gotten some. And it sucks because I was just talking to my friend Andrew Hoyer, and I just had dinner with him yesterday for the first time, and like, I mean, he and I haven't had like a dinner alone together. I think it's been like somewhere close to like 5-6 months. It's been a while. So, this is the first time we got to sit down and talk. In a minute, we talked. I was over at his house like 7 hours, and then we were talking about stuff. And I was telling him, on my podcast, I realized I shouldn't talk about like too much real life stuff, like involve too many things that happen in my real life, because then, what if a certain person listening and they're somehow related to that story, and I say something that kind of like, is a slight on them, or like maybe isn't even a slight, but they hear it and they're like, oh my God, now that I fill them with some questions in their head. So that's why for the past couple podcasts, I've been like trying to maybe just talk about just the random thoughts I have throughout the week. Like, like who's buying boats and string cheese and hot dogs, because those don't involve anyone and there's less of a chance to hurt anyone. So I've been staying away from, I told Hoyer, I was like, I'm trying to like stay away, I think, from like real life stories. That being said, I said I told him yesterday, I was like, I'm not going to touch on this on this week's podcast, but I do want to touch on it because I don't think it's bad. Yeah, yes it is. I actually explained to him, I laid it out for him. I was like, this is why it's bad, and this is why you shouldn't talk about it. That being said, here I am about to talk about it. So I have gotten some DMs, right? And I try to respond to all of these DMs. And it's just stuff about like college, like what, just, different questions people have coming into it. But I've gotten this flavor of question, and it's, I think, just, I was going to say it's objectively a stupid question, but it's not. The thing is, I got to put me in their shoes. Now, I'm not saying I'm going to steal their shoes. I'm saying I got to look at it from their perspective. College is this big monster there's so much unknown about it, right? And so, really, any information about it helps you piece together this giant unknown beast. And if I can provide you with any of those puzzle pieces and how to help you try to piece that together, that's great. The thing is, sometimes, you know, you don't always get a piece of the puzzle if you don't ask the right question. And a question that I get asked, I don't think gives anyone puzzle pieces. So I always wonder, why do they ask this? And this question is Davis a good school? And let, let's say I say yes. Does that suddenly make your decision different? Like, were you not going to go to Davis, but then you saw this guy that's made some videos over the last 4 years because he just goes to school, and if you actually watched more of them, you would realize he's just joking most of the time. Do you think hearing this general sentence from this one guy that yes, Davis is a good school, that would make your decision more definite? And then let's say I say no. First, why would I say no? Even though I don't know, do I believe that? I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna say anything. But let's say I did say no. Would that just immediately, let's say they were on the fence, would that just rule it out for them? They're like, oh well, this random guy on the internet said no, it's not a good school, so I'm not gonna go there. I just wonder, what response are you expecting to get with a question like that? To get a puzzle piece to, make this giant picture make more sense. I don't get why that question gets asked. And then a derivative of that question, or along in the same genre, people are like, I'm an engineering major. So people are like, is the engineering um what is it, department or program? Is the engineering program good? It's the same flow diagram. Let's say I say yes. What does that tell you? But also, let's say I'm smarter about it. I don't just give a one word answer, because you're being an asshole if you do that. What if I expand a little more? What do I expand on? What do I say? Like, oh yeah, great opportunities for research, which I don't even know if is that possible? Do I know that? I don't know. I, the question comes from like a weird comparative point of view. Like, let me explain that. It's like, is Davis as a school or as in the engineering department, is that good? It's like, well, I don't know. I haven't done another one. What do you want me to compare it to? like, do they expect me to say, oh yeah, it's one of the best UC ones? Or it's like, we'll just take Davis as a school in general, just to make this talking about it easier. Do they expect me to be like, oh yeah, Davis is like one of the best UCs? Because I know there's people that say that, but I don't. I think another problem is like, I don't really have, I don't know. It's like, I don't feel a connection to college. To me, it just seemed, I don't know, is this bad to say, but like, to me, college is a transactional thing. It's like, I'm giving you money, I'm taking these courses to get a degree. I don't know if I have that like attachment to the school. Is that a fault of the school? Is that a fault of me? I think it just falls more on me. It's a personality thing. I don't have that, like, I don't know. To me, the relationship with college is not like, in science, they got the mutual relationship, and they got the parasitic relationship, and then they got the third one that no one really cares about. Oh, the third one is like that little fish that attaches underneath a shark, right? And then when the shark like drops stuff, and the little fish like, you know, actually maybe that's a mutual relationship. I don't know. There's like three of them, but I don't know why I brought that up, because what I'm going to talk about isn't even one of the three scientific ones. But if there was a fourth one called transactional, that's like how I see mine with college. It's not like This is tough. There's an idea I've wrestled with for a long time, but it's become more of a fight since I've started college because I realize there's a clear winner, but everyone thinks the other guy won. Let me explain. Growing up, you would go to like a party or something, right? Like an Easter party. What a weird example. You go to a Christmas party, New Year's party, any party with like adults, and finger food and weird uh, igloos full of ice and drinks. And they put like Mr. Pibb in there, and you're like, just get Dr. Peppermint. Why did you? Okay, well, but you go to those parties, where adults stand around in khakis and small plastic plates and cups with their names written on it in Sharpie. You go to those things, and then there's that guy, call him Doug. I watched the movie, and one of the characters' name is Doug, um, or his like fake name, his undercover name. I watched 21 Jump Street. Okay, just full transparency. I just watched 21 Jump Street, and Jonah Hill goes as Doug. Well, it should have been Channing Tatum that went as Doug, but he didn't study like the profiles. So then when they got questioned, he was like, "Well, I want to be Brad," and he made Jonah be Doug. So let's say there's this adult at this adult party, that you find yourself at, and Doug, the adult, happened to go to Stanford, and it comes up because people only talk about the same three things in a conversation, like family, school, and hobbies. And I'm not faulting anyone for that, but it's like, what else do you talk about? Got any kids? Oh, a dog. That's fun. Let's do that for 10 minutes. Oh, what do you do for fun? Oh, yeah, you do photography. Hey, maybe you take my picture sometime. Look at us. Hey, maybe we'll bond a little bit. And you got dogs? Maybe bring the dog along. And then you get to school, and it's like, where'd you go to school? And then, Doug says Stanford, and they're like, oh, Stanford. Everyone, hey, did you know Doug went to Stanford? I knew you were a smart guy. Only smart guys like kayaking, which we're gonna go on that trip. You and me and your dog, huh? Doug from Stanford, huh? Do you have to say that? Do you have to say Doug from Stanford? It's like, nope. I don't work at State Farm. I don't have to add that to my title. But growing up, there's always an adult, and you're like, oh, did you hear Doug went to Stanford? And I'm like, oh, okay. And it gets carried throughout their entire life. Um, like, oh, did you know XYZ adult went to ABC school? And it's like, who cares? Who gives a shit? Maybe they're old enough to where this is obviously an extreme, but it's like, yeah, they went to that school when like so many other things, like I can't think of like I have an example, but it's not safe for the internet. But it's like they went to that school at such a different time, How do we even know like the status it has today? What if it wasn't as cool back then? And that's when they went to it back then. They didn't go to Stanford today. Stanford today is much different, you know, than whenever they went 30 years ago or whatever. If Doug is 50, he went to Stanford 30 years ago, 3 decades ago, when they still taught cursive in school. Yo, rip cursive. It will be missed. Not really. My hand was cramping up a lot in fourth grade, and yeah. No. And so, I don't know, it's weird, and let's take like a school today. Let's say Davis. Let's just use Davis as an example. What if Davis becomes super cool in 30 years, and then I'm at like some stupid party, and, you know, someone's like, oh, kids? I'm like, well, shooting blanks. Nope. Fuck. No, and no, but we get to school and they're like, "Where'd you go to school?" And I say, "Oh, UC Davis," and then they're like, oh, "Everyone, UC Davis just did. They got a big award like 2 years ago, huh? They made that big difference. That's so cool." And it's like, yeah, but I went there like 30 years ago, man. I didn't even know what you just said until you said it. So news to me, huh? And I wonder, can a college rise up the ranks to where I'm seen as cool in 30 years? And then in the same way, can someone be, looked down on, even though when they went to a school, it was prestigious? Like, isn't USC like losing some of its prestige? And I feel like when, I was in high school, anytime anyone was like USC, we were like, oh. And now, I don't know if it's the Olivia Jade thing or what's up, but like now, whenever I hear USC, people only say bad things about it. I don't know if I got a new crowd I'm hanging out with, but to me, like USC's stock has decreased. You know what I'm saying? And so I bring this up because I don't get how people get attached to colleges. You know, like to me, it's school. It's not like USC. They're like anytime you see a Spartan in real life, it's I don't know what hand signal they make, but they go like, what is it like? Fight on? Is it this? Is that what they do? Anytime you see a Spartan, fight on. It's like I work at a bank, man. Am I gonna? You work at a bank. Someone comes in, they see like a USC banner behind you. Actually, no, banks don't allow that much creativity. But imagine you have it like a little like your mouse pad is USC, and they're like, oh, USC, fight on, huh? It's like, dude, that was 20 years ago. Don't why are we? I'm gonna get a new mouse pad. People keep fight oning me. See, this is why I don't talk about real life stuff because it's like I don't know. To me this seems like really. This just seems pessimistic and salty and like I don't know if it's polarizing. It just seems like it's someone. It just seems like it's someone complain. It's me. I'm the someone. It just seems like you're listening to someone complain about nothing. So that's why I talk about stuff like what I have written down here, which is how do people without thumbs use utensils? Have you thought about that? I've been thinking about that for like 4 days now, and I mean, all you probably come up with the same things as me, right? Like here, let's take this pencil. So I mean, you would maybe put it here, like in the middle, but there's not much control because it's just on a 1 point swivel. So then I was thinking, maybe you go like this, right? But then how do you use a knife? You probably break a finger, right? There's not much like friction you can get on that. Oh, I just came up with one though. If you put it here and you put the base of it in your palm, that actually is very nice. Oh, wow. I think I just solved it. Yeah, you put it there in between whichever fingers you want. Oh, middle. That's pretty strong. Yeah, that's pretty weak. Yeah, put it in the middle. Put the base of it on your palm and yeah, no, that actually works. Spoon is pretty easy. Just scooping stuff. But yeah, because you can't really go like this, right? Oh, well. What a see, I don't usually acknowledge when my camera goes out, but it goes out at the time that I'm like, hey, look at this. You can't do this, can you? Like this is just that's not very much control. No, you might. I think these four fingers just get really strong. I think it is doable. Or maybe they have like a prosthetic, that because you just need this to be here, and then you can apply pressure with this finger. But I mean, for all my thumbless people out there, chopsticks are kind of a bitch now, right? Yeah. Unless you got like the prosthetic thumb there. Yeah. There's that idea, right? 10,000 hours and then you're like an expert or like a master on something. And then I started thinking about that more, and I was like, that means to be like a master at podcasting, you would have to talk to yourself for 10,000 hours. And then I was like, if you heard that someone was talking to themselves for 10,000 hours, you'd be like, oh, that's a crazy person. Which means to be a like good podcaster or an expert podcaster, you're technically a crazy person. Which I think is true. You know, the ability to talk to yourself for this long means, yeah, you are crazy. I think I can say that for myself, for sure. Also, I usually, like, before I do these podcasts, I usually turn off the heater so that there's not this, like, sound that comes in. I don't know what's up, but I just forgot to do it this time, so the heater just turned on. I don't know if you hear this low murmur. I hope the gain isn't high enough, but we'll see. I've never done this. I hope it's not an issue. Then I don't have to like do these podcasts in the cold anymore. So hopefully you don't hear the heater. That would suck. But yeah, I feel like every podcast I forget to do something. Like the last two, I meant to clean my glasses before I started. I didn't do that. I just and then there was this smudge last week that was just like annoying me the whole time I was watching it. I remember a while back there was like this thing in my hair, and I was like, oh my god, I never caught that. I hope no one sees that, and I'm pretty sure it was just me seeing it. But yeah, we're it's March. It's I want to say thank you guys. I know I usually say this at the end, but let's reflect on the podcast a little bit. And I do have these topics, and I talked about them last week. I was like, I got these topics, and they're funny, and I'm looking at them. They're right there on my phone. But I don't know. I think it's just talking about all that college shit. It's like kind of made me feel weird. I don't know if I can be that funny. So that's another thing I've been struggling with. Do you guys ever get this? Like, there's times when, like, for like a month, I just like don't like I feel like I don't know how to make a joke or like be funny or anything. And one of those months started last week. Like last week I was like, oh shit, I don't know how to uh, do anything funny anymore. And I'm still kind of in that. Actually, full disclosure, very much in that. I feel like I don't know. I just don't feel funny at all. Um, so I don't know. I don't know. Hopefully that gets better. That's the thing; it always does. But I just bring this up because I remember a year ago I made this video. Um, I forgot what is the title of it, or like the UC Davis, the school for everyone. I think that's what it's called. I mean, you're looking at it right now, but that's it. I remember I made this video. I recorded it during spring break last year, and then I was editing it, and I remember talking to one of my friends, and I was like, it's just, I was like, it's a bad video. It's not funny at all. But then, I watched it today. I'm like, oh, it's actually like, I really like that video. I think it is quite fun. But I remember editing that video, and for like a month, I was like, God, maybe I've lost it. Whatever it is, maybe I don't have it anymore. Maybe, it's time for me to hang it up. I don't know. Maybe that was just the quarantine doing that to me. That's the thing, I said I talked to my friend Hoyer. Yeah, whenever in the past 2 days for dinner. I don't know what day it is anymore. But that's the first person I talked to in real life, like outside of my family, in 3 months now. So I think it's maybe just that. Maybe I'm just going crazy. Who knows? I mean, if anyone knows, I know, right? So This podcast is going pretty well, you know. I appreciate you guys hitting like on it. That always means a lot, you know. 2,500 views total, I think, is what we were just at. So that's great. Um, I'm still enjoying doing this, so that's good. Sometimes I'm like, you know, I mean, this is I've had this conversation, or I've talked about this multiple times. You know, I start thinking this has to be a certain amount of good, but then I realize, you know, this has got to be like why I started this. Post once a week. Doesn't have to be good. Excuse me. This just has to be. It just has to be. It just has to exist. It doesn't have to meet any gold standard or anything. Um, it just has to be. And sometimes that's good enough, you know? Sometimes just waking up in the morning and doing your day, even if you can do that, sometimes that's great that you can do that. Do you ever do? I do this, I feel like. I mean, I bring it up because I just did it with Hoyer. You ever finish talking to someone and then you're like, all right, yeah, good talk. So you're 75 an hour? Is that right? Because it's, you ever talk to someone and then it gets like too personal and then it almost feels like therapy because, you know, they were nice enough to listen. Yeah. I used to have Sarah V, you know? That's not a person, that's the lotion, you know? But now I got this Corel, you know? There's such a massive glare. That's insane. Oh, no. Yeah, you can see it there. Got this Curel. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but this is, oh, this is fantastic. I highly recommend. And it does that thing, you know, where lotion, you know, it makes your hands all like weird feeling, like oily feeling. It's not oil, but you know what I'm saying? This one, you rub it into your hands and then it's like it was never there. Then you can, this is important because if you use like a normal lotion, you can't really play video games for the next hour. But this, you slap it on in between games and you can be, you know, flying over a keyboard easy. You don't even have to worry about it. Whereas, you know, you use Johnson and Johnson baby lotion, you know, that pink stuff, then, you know, you're going to be slipping and sliding on that keyboard. You're not going to be precise and methodical with it. You're going to be a sloppy hand slammer on that board of keys. You know what I'm saying? Also, I want to fully acknowledge, because I've noticed I've done it on this podcast. Um, I've done it every single podcast. I didn't realize I do this, and I'm so curious if I do this in real life too. But something I've noticed, and if you've noticed, I'm so sorry. And the fact that I'm going to point it out means I've just ruined all podcasts from here on out. Uh, I've noticed something I do. I say, you know, a lot. At the end of like every other sentence, it seems like. So I'm going to try to stop doing that, you know? But we'll see. I didn't know I had that crutch going, but I've listened to it. You know, I always listen to my podcast because I edit them, you know, with the pictures, and then I make sure I never peak the volume so I don't blow out your ears. And I noticed, yeah, I say, you know, after a lot of sentences, and I had this. I've noticed some people do this in real life, but I've only seen it with the word okay. There was a professor I had, and every time he would do a step, he would be like, okay, just to like, I don't know if it was for him or for us to like see if we were following along, or if he, in his brain, he was like, there's one step, okay, next step. It was just weird. He was like, you know, carry the X, okay, and then we, you know, -4, okay, and it was just like, I wonder if he knows he's saying okay, or that's just, yeah. So I know I'm saying, you know, and I just want to say I'm working on it. It's my version of like. I don't think I say like too much. but I say, a lot. So I know I do this, and I apologize. And I guess the reason I don't know if I do it in real life is because like I just said, I haven't talked to a real life human being in 3 months. Like I do, meetings during the week and stuff, but real life is so different because all the meetings online are like through Zoom, so there is a delay. It just makes things different. I don't know how to quite explain it, but in real life, it's so much easier to like bounce off of people and like, yeah, I don't know. So maybe I do. I've said for a lot of my life, and I just didn't know, but now I know, and you know. See what I did there? So yeah, I'm working on it. I swear. I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna. By the way, I thought of more video ideas. I've been saying for a couple weeks I got 11 video ideas. I thought of like four yesterday, and they're all like good. And the reason I came up with them all so soon ago is because new. I can't give too much away because if I do, will not be good. But some new stuff. I've seen some new stuff, and I don't even. How do I talk about this? There's a there's some stuff that now exists that didn't exist before. I could have just said new stuff. There's new stuff, and I'm gonna talk about it. So, who knows when that will come out? But I think they're really good ideas. I think they're good video ideas. I don't know if they're good ideas, but I think they're gonna be good videos. By the way, if you want to know, I'm recording this at. I just checked the clock. It's 3:11 a.m. on Monday, the day I post this at usually noon. So just know, it, this is fresh. This is still. If this was a banana, it'd be green as shit. I just thought about green shit, and that's disgusting. But this is new. I haven't talked about like what time I've been recording the recent podcasts, but like all of them have been the past like month. They're all usually like Sunday at like 8 or 9 p.m. and I usually like stay up and just edit it. The editing usually takes like 2 hours because you got to listen through it to it all the way through, and that usually takes like an hour and a half. Just because you got to pause it every so often to just reduce some levels, and then I go through and add the pictures, and then I upload. And uploading takes easily an hour. So yeah, recording it takes like 45 minutes, and then posting it takes just over 2 hours. So every podcast takes like 3 hours to do. But it's not like hard work. It's just like work you need to do, you know? Damn it. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I think this one is going to wrap up a minute early or something, but I promise the next one, it'll be funny, and it'll be back in Davis. Back to that old place. I'll bring out the Dunder Mifflin glass. For all my early listeners, we love that glass and that ice clinking around and that little glass cup. Couldn't come up with a synonym for couldn't come up with a synonym for glass. So nope, still can't do it. But yeah, I'll see you, next episode. I'll be starting spring quarter, and that sucks. That's terrible. But I hope you guys will see this. I said it again. You guys will see this at the beginning of spring break if you're at Davis. Have a great spring break. Make the most of it. It's bullshit that winter break is usually 3 weeks and this is 1 week, but hey, let's make it count. So I hope you have a great spring break. Thank you so much for listening. The support's always appreciated, and I'll see you next week. Okay. Bye.